Hi guys, today is the 25th of January 2020 and it's 21 minutes past 11 in the evening over here in the UK. I've been wrestling with this video because even though there's only 1 week and 6 days left in this watch Julian calendar for the year of the pig, there's still quite a few dates that are applicable to this time frame. So I'm still struggling to really pin things down. There's multiple dates that I'm finding. I figured one way I could do this video was by pointing out a certain number and then potentially, then interpreting what date that could potentially be. So I'm just going to do that. So first, on this second character's head here, you can see 2 marks on this side, and over here is an upside down number 7. Hopefully you can see that. The girl in the middle, when counted with the rest of the characters, is the 7th character, and above her head there are 2 marks that are, sorry, do it the other way. There are 2 marks which are directly above her head. The 3rd mark is above this other guy's head who's behind her. So that's 2 marks of 27. Over here, again, potentially the number 27 with the 7 backwards. And then the rabbit's ears with the number 7 in the vine leaves just there. So it's repeated quite a few times, and I'm just thinking there's a couple of dates that could connect to within this Julian calendar year of the pig, which ends on February the 7th, and that is obviously the 27th of January, which comes up in 2 days time. There's also January 17th on the Julian calendar, which is the 30th of January on the Gregorian calendar, and there's also February the 7th. When I was thinking about this scene, I was thinking about my interpretations of connecting it to the UK, and obviously there's the exit in the background for Brexit. The blue and then red colour scheme gives you emergency lighting. Blue, red and white is the colour of the UK flag. The Masonic floor, the Freemasons were started in the UK, Scotland, I believe. The stag and the whole connections that we've had to, Buckingham Palace, and, when it first comes onto this scene, the stag is above this character's head like a crown. Here you can see the 7 more clearly actually, so that's good. So I feel like there's a big connection here to the UK. Obviously the rose is not just a New York thing. Excuse me, there's also the England rose as well. Now the date interpretations that I just gave you, the 27th of January, the 30th of January, and the 7th of February, are all potential dates, but if it's connected to the UK and an emergency, this whole emergency seems to be connected with lighting. And I do recall they released that TV series called Cobra, where they're dealing with a blackout power outage, and that was released on the 17th. So it could very well be 13 days later we have the actual blackout in the UK, which will be convenient because, as I said, if it takes place on the 30th, that's the day before Brexit. The exit is in the background just there. The blue and red colour scheme, B for blue, R for red, add that to the exit, you've got your Brexit. So the very next day would be the day that we leave the EU, but that wouldn't happen, I would suspect, if an emergency unfolded in the UK in connection with the number 27, and that very well being on the Julian calendar, January 17th, which is actually January the 30th, because we can't make it that obvious, 27, and actually connect it with the number 27. It would have to be on a calendar that's not used very often. So the 30th of January, UK potential blackout, and just with that blackout interpretation connecting with the number 27, I'm drawn back to George Bush in the beginning of the video. I'm not going to slow it down because I've explain this enough, but his hands display the number 10 and then 10 again, and then 7 very quickly, with 3 on one hand, 4 on the other hand, and then he goes into the illusionary moving of his fingers, which, along with the tapping in this scene, I'm just going to turn up the volume so you can hear that, relates to me, in my mind, to a cyber attack. And obviously the whole scene is dark and we've just got starlight lighting up the room, so that kind of fits in again with that 27 reference, that potentially being 117, which could be January 17th, but not on the Gregorian calendar, on the Julian calendar, which is actually January the 30th, the day before Brexit. And then we go further forward or further back to the beginning of the video, and all the numbers that I've connected to 27 again appears to link me up to the UK. So very quickly, for one, the 666 mark on the head is 999 upside down, which is obviously the UK emergency number. Again, we've got emergency lighting, it's a blackout. We have 999 equating to the number 27, the number 27 breaking down to 117, that being January 17th, but on the Gregorian calendar, that being January the 30th. We also have the other interpretation for the number 27 with the 2 and the 7 for the next block. That was terrible. 7 for the next block, 27 there again. Even with the dog's legs, I've got very fat fingers, so I'm not sure I'll be able to do it, but you've got the 1, then on the other side the dog's leg connects with the bottom of the dog's head to make a 7, backwards of course. Just a series of 2s and 7s, or double 1s and 7s. So keep an eye out, January 27th, January 30th, and February the 7th for UK blackout. And obviously the next day is the 31st. Donald Trump deposition, potential cult urination rumors coming forward, potential issues with the Taliban or with Iran or with Pakistan, whichever, or even Afghanistan, whichever country the image of Osama bin Laden represents. There we are, with the 31 in the clouds up here. Now in connection with the 31, that could be, you know, the 31st of January. But again, there's the Julian calendar where the number 13 comes up tomorrow on the 26th of January. Now I'm doubtful that these things are going to unfold tomorrow, but bearing in mind we did just get the news of the 34 soldiers that were injured in the Iran attack rather than it being 11, the backlash that's coming against Donald Trump for calling them headaches, so he may do something, you know, to show that he's a bit more serious. So yes, do watch out tomorrow for the connections to the number 13 or 31. That gives us the house, the missile/penis, the Middle East scene as well. Again, if in fact actually I don't think there is any more after that, the interpretations for the Middle East, the missile, the penis cult in connection with the number 13 or 31, I'm just looking at the chart. There's the Julian calendar, there's the Gregorian calendar, and that is about it. So those are the only 2 days I'll be watching out for those events, it appears. And yeah, that is nearly it, I think. Just one more thing I think I wanted to discuss before I go, which is the Apple. I'll just get it right back on where I need it. Okay, let it join up a bit. So the Apple scene, all the events connected to the Apple and the Apple splitting. There's 3 dates that I see for this scene. There's January the 28th. I'll just point that out very quickly. 1 seed, 2 seeds. That's January 2, and then the 8 connecting in the middle. January 28th. January 28th is the 15th day on the lunar calendar. I'm not going to bother. You got the number 15 just down there, and 115 on the lunar calendar. Sorry, 115 on the Gregorian calendar going back was 1221 on the lunar calendar. So that would be 1-2 or 2-1. So using those 3 calendars, Gregorian, lunar, and Julian, the same dates can connect together on the 28th of January. So again, all the events that are connected with the, let's get rid of that, connected with the Apple, sorry, New York, Hawaii, Italy, Mount Etna, Kilauea, Israel, the first sin, eclipse, celestial body, maybe some sort of technology used to create that eclipse with an asteroid going over the moon or the sun or something. Mike Pompeo, he's going to be traveling to the UK on the 29th, so there's the possibility that during his travels, maybe on the 28th, something happens to him. Obviously, Iran still hasn't exactly exacted their revenge for the killing of Qasem Soleimani, and considering he was basically like the number 2 in Iran, you'd expect the retaliation would be something similar, a high-level official from the United States, and obviously Mike Pompeo would be quite a high target. Excuse me. There's also Stromboli. Not on this map is the new volcano that emerged off of Comoros in the Indian Ocean, so that's also something to watch out for erupting there. The splitting of the Apple, the volcanic eruption, the collapse, the earthquake, Babylon Canyon, dam collapse, River Hudson, tsunami, Brexit, the underground water explosion, that's more linked to the Babylon Canyon theory, or the Comoros volcano theory. The bomb and nuke, again, that may be connected with the Babylon Canyon or the underwater volcano, but all of that is connected with the Apple, which may have connections with the 28th of January, if, as I said, all of those dates from the 3 calendars connect together for that date. But there's also February the 1st, which I've already talked about in previous videos, but I'll just point it out very quickly. The 2 on that side, the 1 on that side, February the 1st, the F coming off of the side here, forming from the 1 seed, again potentially February the 1st, the leaf just here with the F and the 1 on one side, potentially February the 1st, but although as I've drawn that, you can also see a potential for the number 27, again linking us to maybe the 30th, so maybe 30th blackout, and then the 1st of February volcanic eruptions, and then moving on from there. Still, as I said, there's many dates that can be interpreted within this short little time frame, and it's incredibly frustrating to think that one of these dates or any of these dates, things could happen and you could miss it because there's more than one interpretation for them. So that's why I'm giving you all 3 basically. It appears there's at least three dates for each event within this short time frame. The first of which is coming up tomorrow, and that's in association with the missile, the penis cult, and the Middle East, Iran, Taliban, Pakistan, Afghanistan, all those events we've talked about in association with the number 13 or 31. You guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.